Welcome to another great edition of Beacons of Light, where we are really shining the light on people who make a difference in our local community by sharing God's love with those most in need. And joining me today is Mike Olinde.
Hey, Mike.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Well, Mike, you are our board chair for the St. Vincent de Paul Society for the entire Diocese of Baton Rouge, our Special Works operations. And we want you to share a little bit today of why you're involved, but we want to start off, you come from a great family. I know your mom and your dad, and they're just absolutely fantastic. Talk a little bit about how having great parents really set you on a good direction in life.
Mike, yes, I've been blessed. I have my mom and dad are still alive, and my father's 89, my mom's 83, have a total of 5 kids, 3 brothers and 1 sister, and we're fortunate coming up, being raised where we have meals together, Sunday meal together, went to church Sunday morning, always said grace before meals, regular participating Catholics, as we say, and then we had great role model with my father always being the guy that led us in the directions, always being there for us. When you look back and reflect back on upcomings and the challenges or the obstacles or the things you do in your life, some are good, some bad, but more importantly, I guess they're there in the times when they were bad, that they were always there, loving, caring, and helping us through the process. At the time, I might not have realized a lot of that, but they were, and they were forgiving, is what we're all called to do, and what I've learned a lot, especially now in my life, and try to do the best I can. They did a good example and role model for me, because now I have 4 children, and hopefully I've led a path. I've been as good a role model as they have been to me.
They showed you that unconditional love that God shows
Many
us
a times over,
yes,
Mike.
Yes,
Many
indeed.
a times over, yes, sir.
And what a priceless example. That's God's love, unconditional. Yes. And that kind of formed you not only as a person, but as a parent, right?
That's correct. That's correct. And it's taught me so much. And the times that when I go through the challenges currently with my spouse and the children, the family situations, I really realize, and I can reflect back and seeing how my father handled it and my mom handled it. It makes life a lot easier when you've been through this and you've had a good person to teach you, because sometimes it just becomes habits and you really don't realize it until you get in situations where you look around you and you really see what we're faced with in society now with the obstacles that we have. And I was so blessed to have such a great core value faith that was instilled to me at birth, which is, in my opinion, is very crucial to what we're missing a lot right now.
Right, in the world, no doubt. You have a
Yes.
foundation of faith, and
That's
you've
correct.
kind of built your life on that foundation.
Right, and at the time you don't know it because you're young,
Right.
you're doing what you're doing, you're growing and you're making your mistakes, you're learning life situations, but as you get older and you start appreciating things and you have children and you start watching that process,
Yeah.
Number one, you can look back and say, well, I kind of know how to handle this because this is what my dad did for me, and I see I turned out okay, but maybe at the time I didn't know it, and so as I slowly have that, I do have experience. The one thing I don't have might be understanding today's times, environments, and conditions, but I have experience because of my age and what I've been through.
And, when you have loving parents like your mom and your dad, they really do set that course for you so that when you do hit those life challenges, you can deal with them as a parent, but also they give you that open mind to grow spiritually, right?
They do, Mike, and now I'm experiencing them at an older age, and the best part, is in my opinion, it's challenging, but you get to take care of them. They took care of me when I couldn't do everything, so now I find ourselves, the siblings, coming together and bringing us closer together to take care of them. And in a selfish way, to me, it's showing my children what's expected of them to take care of me.
Right, right.
It's kind of a circle. It's circle of life, as everybody says. It repeats itself. And a lot of times, I don't think people understand that, because if they don't set examples or you don't take care of the family members or what you do in your actions in your daily life, people are watching, especially your children.
Right. It's what you do, not what you say.
That's right. That's right. People say a lot of things.
Yeah.
And
you talked about the love of your parents. One thing I do with my children all the time, and since they were little, I said, what's the most important thing you know about your dad? You know what I tell them? I says that he loves you. And even today, they're going to be 22 this year. I still say, what's the most important thing about your dad? He loves me. Isn't that unconditional love for your children just so important? And why do you think that's important? Because in today's world, it seems like nobody loves anybody.
Well, I think they love people, but I don't think they know what love is.
Right.
You know, I don't know how to. I think that the challenges that we face right now about love is really, I think it's acceptance to them. They don't understand a deeper love, because I think the deeper love comes through what my parents, what I experienced, what you experienced,
Right.
because of what you do for a living, and also your upbringing. You know,
Right.
being raised at Sandwich like
Right.
myself. You know, we've had pretty parallel lives in a lot of ways, especially with our families and our parents, and we're close to them. We've been blessed in that respect, and I think that I don't think that the love is really a true right now. We're having a hard time with that, and when you take God out of it, because God's, you know, your true love, He's the one that gives us love, and to know love, because you can't see love.
Right.
It's not in writing. It doesn't tell you, hey, this is love. This is what you got to do when you have love.
Right.
You know, it's not black and white.
Right.
You got to believe in something. You got to have faith in something.
Right.
And that's what love's about. And I think the only way you do that is with God being a part of your life. And then, you know, and I went to I forgot what priest was saying, but we're at Mass, and, you know, he said a marriage is impossible unless you have God, because He's your love, you know, and you got to love God. And that's how you love your spouse and your children, because of you experience that through Him. So if you don't have a good relationship with Him, or, you know, you're going to have trouble with your family or other people that you come in contact with, because you're not going to know what to do, because you got to have something to follow to know what to do. I mean, instructions when you put something together.
Right.
When you got parameters or procedures or guidelines for safety on a project or anything. Everybody has guidelines, procedures, processes that they have together.
Right.
So what are your process procedures for your life, for your family? I mean, what do you want as an end result? What are you following? You know, and I've been blessed as yourself, you know, to have the families, and we didn't really know it at the time. You know, Dad didn't put it in writing or anything, but we watched him.
Right.
We watched his actions, we watched how he treated us, and we've absorbed all that, and that's what I hope that, you know, I pass on to my children. I think I do. You know, I think I've done a decent, we've had all our spells, and, you know, for 4 kids, from 33 to 23 being the youngest, you know, I've been all over the place, and it had a lot of challenges, and it's made me a better person. It hadn't broke me yet, and it's given me the strength to continue. And if anything, it's given me the strength to share and do what I do, and maybe have the power each and every day to do that much more, because I know God gives me all these challenges so I can share and with other people to give them hope, and also help people that need help that might not be able to help themselves sometimes.
Well, everything you just said is so very powerful. I mean, it's all built on that foundation of faith. And I mean, I think you described all the problems in the world today, because you said it all starts with God and His love. That's where love starts. And when you take God out, you said take God out, you take love out. And if you remove love from the world, that's a problem. And everywhere you turn in today's world, you see that. They're trying to remove God. And if you remove God, you remove love. And if you have God, you have everything. And if you don't have God, you have nothing.
And then, Mike, right on. I mean, and I think at St. Vincent de Paul, you know, you go there, and it's not about if your color, your age, your sex, your background, your culture, you know, your religious background. It's love.
Right.
It's love. I mean, we love the poor. We serve the poor. We love each other. The board members, they come and go through the years I've been on there. But it's amazing the love that St. Vincent brings together on the campus, plus through the works, through the programs that we serve and utilize and bring people together, the volunteers that we bring in. We don't ask them their backgrounds, professions, income, or what religious beliefs they are.
Right.
They're there to help serve and have a love, and most of them, you know, during these special holidays, bring their families, because they want to show their kids what love is.
Right.
And experience that. And where do they go? They don't they come to our kitchen.
That's right.
For these events. They come to our toy giveaway for Santa Claus.
Right.
You know, this is things that St. Vincent's actively showing people how to love people. And that's what's drawn me so close to St. Vincent de Paul.
Well, you see why I love working at St. Vincent de Paul. This is guys like this right here, because it's all built on a foundation of faith. And when we come back, we're going to talk about sharing God's love with children and how Mike first got involved with the St. Vincent de Paul Society. Beacons of light. That's what our show's all about, sharing hope and, most importantly, God's love with people in need. And joining me is Michael Olinde. Michael, talk to us about why you got and how you got involved with the St. Vincent de Paul Society.
Mike, it was, I guess, back about in 97, 98. In 97, I went through a divorce. I'd married, my first marriage was from a girl I met in college, and she was from Central America, Panama City, Panama, and I had 2 children at that time, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And they went back to Panama to be raised there with their mom, and then through the divorce, I was up here. And I think you must have approached me in 98, because I think we had shared those dates, and I was like, and you came to me about this Uniform for Kids program, and at that time, I think we were in 3 civil parishes, maybe only 2 of the diocese, and we were a very small operation, but I don't know, I had some kind of calling. My kids weren't here, and I felt like if I was gonna do for some kids, this would be a good opportunity to get involved and be a part of the community and helping kids, and I felt like somehow, I guess you were the messenger from God coming to ask me to fill a hole that I'd lost, and so I actually accepted that project, and then since then, still part of it, obviously, and we've grown this project now to be in all 12 civil parishes of the diocese right now, and serving, I think we served 9,000 kids last year, and consistently over the years, and then built the inventory up and our systems in place, and to actually be there and be available for the children that need it most. They come into this world, they don't have a choice whether to come in the world or not, and then they're born, and then the first chance of maybe trying to get something good might be education, and that's what we all want them to do. But being in a position, maybe of their background that they didn't choose, or their parents having some unfortunate situations happen in their life, we never know what happens, but stuff does happen we can all agree on, is that we hopefully provide a way that the first day that this child is put in a position of a classroom or an education level or something for advancement over time, is that they're part of, because they're dressed with a uniform that fits in. It's new, it's clean. That gives them an opportunity to be accepted into something rather than go in with dirty clothes or out of uniform, where they start out, unfortunately, their first day at a downslide because they're not even fitting in, and they're treated as, the pink elephant in the room, so to say. And that's what happens, and I think the stigma that it attaches, or they're different from the other kids. You're not different from the other kids. You're just the same as these kids. You're innocent, you're vulnerable. We need to protect you and make sure you feel that, and the uniforms is such a simple way to do that. And I guess that's kind of how my affection got into it, and really my love and my heart got into it to grow the program. And the people that are involved with it are the same. The corporate sponsors that we get, all the other people that are involved, all the parishes that we have involved. It's been that great of a program and support efforts that it makes it real easy, and it's grown. I didn't realize how much we've grown as I go back and reflect, but it's just grown, and it's not anything I've done. It's just what's happened because of the need and what it does and what it means to other people too, because they do want to help these children.
No doubt about it, but it was built on that foundation of faith. Your parents raised you, you had an open mind, so when the Holy Spirit talked to you, and it wasn't me, it was the Holy Spirit talk, you heard Him. You heard the Spirit, and you said, what can I do for these kids? And you share God's love by, being there for kids, the self-esteem aspects that you just hit on. All God's children are made alike. That's what you said in the earlier segment. It's so true. When people come to St. Vincent de Paul, we do not judge. We only evaluate how we can help, right?
That's right, Mike. And you've taught me a lot of that, over these years of being with you, the Holy Spirit, and just the relationship that I've enjoyed by being around St. Vincent de Paul councils, their members of Ascension councils, and the people, the volunteers. It brings that out of you. If you surround yourself with people like that, you become one of that, and that's kind of what happens in life. And so I've been in a very good position to do that for some reason, and it's worked well for me. Getting to the children, and I forgot to mention that there's sometimes, for some whatever reason, some of these children don't have a chance to come in and get a uniform. Maybe dual working families and they just can't fit their schedule, or they didn't for some reason get in and go through the process, the protocol to get on the calendar and the schedule to get their uniform fitted. But we've set up with the guidance counselors in the schools where they can identify them on that first day and pull them into the office and get them a uniform to actual wear, and so they are. So we've, through this we've learned a lot of the processes, and as far as, for some of these holiday meals that we serve at the kitchen, which are great, the families come in and some of the kids will actually be wearing their school uniforms, and that's how proud they are. And, coming up, I think we laughed about it, but I know when we had to wear uniforms to school, we hated to put them on. We couldn't wait. A privilege to us was not wearing a uniform. It was wearing street clothes.
That's exactly
and then at the end of the day, when we went home, we had to take that uniform off and took it off immediately and got on our play clothes. It's just the opposite here. And so, you got to truly understand the good that we're doing for these people, the most vulnerable members of our society that don't have a choice. They're just thrown in this thing. And sometimes, unfortunately, unless we step up or other people step up and help these individuals, I don't know what we would do. We need to be there for them, Mike. And that's what I've embraced, and hopefully I share that with everybody I come into contact with, which I think is why we've been so successful.
Oh, I agree. And when you talk about yourself, but people that have inspired you, you gave me credit, but people like Don Broussard. And Jerry Malone, who was the volunteer that was on the ground with uniforms for kids that we worked so closely together with. And she's, kind of retired because now she's in her 80s. When you get to your 80s, sometimes you can't go as fast. There's special people.
Jerry Malone, I couldn't have never done it without
me too.
her. She's been a dream, and I still stay in touch with her. She's semi-retired, as you mentioned, and when I need something, I always call her, and we're great friends. But this is what you have when you get in an organization like St. Vincent de Paul. You got a common cause, the love of God, serving the poor, serving people that need help, the most vulnerable people, the mentally ill, the addicted, the people without houses, shelters, and getting to even like the pharmacy. I didn't mention any of that yet, but Kay Kais has been there forever, and she runs that pharmacy, and she's an angel. We have her, and somehow or another we continue to serve that need of our society, which has been incredible.
It is. It's all built on that foundation of faith, and a foundation that doing it together makes us better as a community. And when we come back, we're going to talk about community, and we're going to talk about Mike's role as our board chair and why it's important to make a difference by reaching out to those in need. And you can do so by joining us at svdpbr.org. See how you can get involved and make the community a better place for those in need.
My Bicycle Journey, a book that tells a story. It educates, it promotes, and it also provides some leadership. Take the time to purchase this book, and St. Vincent de Paul benefits from all of the proceeds of this book. Please, if you would, give St. Vincent de Paul a call and let me know what you think of My Bicycle Journey.
It's important that God's love is felt by everyone in our community, and that's what our St. Vincent de Paul Society is built on, sharing God's love with those in need. And Michael Olinde, as our board chair in the Diocese of Baton Rouge, why is that important as far as getting God's love out into the community?
Mike, I think that, from my opinion of it or aspect of it and what it's done for me, it's so self-rewarding. It makes you whole. I hate to be selfish in why I do things. Everybody says do things not to get a return, but I think my return is so much greater, and it's not nothing I can counter, but it's something that I experience through the love of God and the stuff I share with. And the more active I am with St. Vincent de Paul or just going to the campus to see what we do, the more I feel fulfilled, and it's something that I don't really know how to say it. It's self-evolving, self-feeding, or it generates itself and the energy level. So, and to me, I think that as a community, if we really want to better our community, we need to come together and put down all of the division lines that are out there, whatever they might be, and come together as one for each other as humans. And I think that that's where I really have found what my calling might be as the chairman of the board, and hopefully I represent that, in my life and in the community of the things that I do and in my business practice, and the people I come in contact with, because I think that that's so important to me.
Well, the Holy Spirit, that's what it's all about. Not long ago, we cut the ribbon on our new Bishop Hot shelter expansion and broke ground on a new day shelter. Bishop Duca was out there. Bishop Munch was out there. It was just, wasn't that a fabulous event?
Once again, it's Mike, it's one of these callings that we went out there to the community. The community showed their support by stepping up with finances and all of the above, the volunteers, the working together, the board members, and making this happen. Right now the shelter, as you mentioned, has been open for about a year. We did a ribbon cutting, and actually it's the only shelter that I'm aware of in this area that serves families. So
that's correct.
If you've been, unfortunately, had some tough times in your life, either lost your job or for whatever reason it might be, and not have a place to go, we can now put a family together, keep the family unit together.
Right.
Where before the shelters, they were usually a female and a male shelter, but now we can put them together because it's so important for these kids to be in a family unit, to have their father there, to have their mother there, to show that, because that's their chance of experiencing love, experiencing parents, stuff that we took for granted maybe at that time, and maybe now that because of the times they're not able to do. So we're actually step up and fill that void through a lot of what we've done in that shelter. The groundbreaking is, that's going to be incredible. I don't know how long until it's built, but turning the soil was great, and I'm looking forward to it. And the community has stepped up in that respect. The local government has recognized the need, and they've given us $1 million. We're still short, unfortunately, but we know that breaking the ground and getting this project started as prior projects, that we know that people will come together and fill our needs through the grace of God and the Holy Spirit, and let's get it done. That's the way I feel. That's what my life's about.
Well, there's one project I know is close to your heart, but we haven't broken ground on it yet. We've got a chapel project. Why is that important to have a space where people can go and pray? Not only our guests that are struggling and need God's loving hand to enter their lives, but also our volunteers to grow spiritually. Why is that so important?
Since I've been a part of this, the chapel has been my goal and my prayer, and I don't know when it's going to happen, so we're still raising money to make that happen, so we're always open to do that, and we would love to visit with you if you had a heart or a calling for that. But to me, a chaplain, what I've learned through my years, as you come and go in life, the challenges, you got to have a safe place to go, and you got to have a place that that if you just sit there, you feel safe, number one, and you know that you'll get your answers. In my life, through the challenges I've been through, and I'm married, have been raised with a great family, have brothers and sisters, great friends, great everything, I've been blessed. But there's times that sometimes you need to go, reflect, and just sit quietly, because, the grace of God is being silent. And not always. Prayer is being silent and being open and letting him talk to you. He's with you 24/7. I remember my daughter one time, we were talking, and she, I don't want to go to church, why I go to church, and starting up that routine that they do, and just asking questions or challenges in high school or college. Indeed. I said, the reason why you got to go is because I got to show you a safe place to go that's open 24/7, whether it's a church or an adoration chapel.
Right.
Because there's going to be times in your life, unfortunately, that you're not going to know the answer, that you feel like your parents are against you, your friends are against you, your husband's against you, your kids are against you. And those, you got to know where to go. And if you don't have a safe place to go, and what's a safe place that's free, that doesn't cost you, you don't have to go get counseling. You can get to see a priest, but if you go to a church, you got to establish some safe zone that you have, that once you go into, that you can let down all your defenses and be open to receive and talk to somebody, and that's God. That's why faith and love is so important in people's lives, and I've just really come to appreciate that and share that with my kids and my family, and that's why St. Vincent de Paul, we've got to have that. That's what we're based on. That's our faith, and somehow or another we started with this, and we work backwards to this. Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because we've been to church on that campus right now.
That's right.
Now we're going to have a building, bricks and mortar, that are our church.
That's exactly right. Because that's what, St. Vincent de Paul Society, as you well, I'm speaking to the choir here, but we are not a social services group. We're a spiritual organization. What you've talked and shared about with us today is about spiritual growth, growing from where you were to where you're at, and you've got great excitement to where you can go, because that's what it ultimately is. I don't know exactly where I'm at in my spiritual growth, but I know that it's a future there. Wherever I'm at, I can get closer to God. And like you said, God's arms are always open. And this is going to be the space where people can feel God's arms in the embrace of the Holy Spirit.
And that to me is so important, you know, and I feel, you know, some people, whether how strong your faith is or not, you always have challenges and you have weak points.
Right.
And when you have a weak point, you got to go get help or get strength somewhere. And there's no better place than something that's real convenient that you can go to.
Right.
And that's what hopefully this chapel will do. And plus it will portray who St. Vincent de Paul is in a brick and mortar. The people that are involved with the volunteers, the people that we serve day to day, they know what we are.
Right.
That's easy.
That's exactly
the problem are the people that don't know who we are.
Right.
They pass up Florida Boulevard or they go around, they really never have heard of St. Vincent de Paul.
Right.
The younger crowd that's now in the millennials with all the Instagrams and the social media, I don't know if they really, you know, get to experience this, and our job is to get that to them. And I don't know a better way to do that than through something like this and showing them what we are and what we're about.
Well, we're so blessed to have you, because when we talk about the Chapel Project, you said it's got to open to Florida, because that's the gateway to St. Vincent de Paul. And now as we're wrapping up the show, that's what we are. We're kind of a gateway to St. Vincent de Paul. And what Mike shared with our planning team is that we really need to have an open, so that on Florida, our opening, people see the chapel, because that's, with 30 seconds to go, that's what it's all about, right?
Amen, Mike, and you couldn't have said it any better. I think that when the cars pass or when people come or see our campus, that it's opening, it's welcome. They know what we stand for. It's for God, it's for the Holy Spirit, it's for love. The doors are always open, as our parents were for us. It's unconditional love, and we'll always be. We don't care about your background. We don't care about what's happened in your life. We're not going to go through all that. We're there for you, for love, to give you a helping hand if you want a helping hand.
Well, now everyone sees why I'm blessed to be at St. Vincent de Paul for 30 years. It's because of great guys like Mike Olinde, all the men and women who, and young adults that are involved with us, whether it's leadership or volunteerism. That's what makes my job easy, is to be able to follow great leaders like Mike Olinde. Michael, thanks for being on the show. We hope that you will, we hope you're inspired by Mike and others that we are having on our Beacons of Light series. Look at how they've embraced the Holy Spirit, how you can embrace the Holy Spirit, and how you can share God's love and the Holy Spirit with those in need. We'll see you next week on Beacons of Light.